The champ is here. How y'all doing? Jesus cannot return until Israel is gathered. Prophetic truths revealed, part 2. So let's get to the PowerPoint. Let's get this thing done. Where's the keynote? The keynote is here. It should go up now. Boom. Let's get to, we're going to start at 9. We stopped at 8 yesterday. So we're going to go to Romans. Let's do a little, so here's the title again. And we showed that Abraham is the father of the faithful and stuff. And that Israel was going into captivity and Ammon hadn't been and all that stuff. And then we showed this, the affliction without bornness, and then a man carrying the seed, therefore child is whatever the father is. Little notes from yesterday. You can go back and watch yesterday. I'm going to put it in a little playlist so you can follow it. Then we named all the souls that came out of Jacob that made up Israel. Name should be on the 12 gates. 144 of them. That's 12,000 from each tribe, so and so, so and so. The 400 years of affliction, 42 generations to Jesus. Now we on 9. We're going into Romans chapter 11. We're going to let the computer read.
Romans 11:1 minus 5, 7, 25, 26. I say then, hath God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. 2. God hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew.
So, has God cast away his people? That's audience relevancy right to the Roman preterist community. Audience relevancy. But let's ask it now and make it relevant for the audience that's hearing it today. Has God cast away his people? No, he hasn't cast away his people. He had the 10 tribes over here, Christopher Columbus, all of that. He got me, a servant of his, talking about his people. Yay, nay. So we're gonna start back at 3.
Lord, they have killed thy prophets, and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. 4. But what saith the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men, who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
Not bowed their knee to Baal. Can he say that now? He probably say, I got a trillion Israelites claiming that they Hebrew Israelites. I bet you he could say he got one Israelite that said he's an Israelite by nationality and a Christian by faith. As all Israelites have been ever since they left Egypt. They was dealing with the Christ back there in the Old Testament, and they was following him. And the simple terminology for anybody that follow Christ is a Christian. And if you're an Israelite, that makes you a what? An Israelite Christian. No one ever seen or heard the terminology. I'm the scholar that put that out there. But since I didn't graduate high school, because people say you can't read, you can't spell and stuff, you don't want to accept my scholarship. It's cool. I understand. You want to bend over and let your professor duke you in the booty. Sodomize you mentally and stuff. I'm not trying to sodomize nobody. I don't worship goddess and stuff. So, 5.
5. Even so then at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. 25 For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
See that? Blindness has happened to Israel to the fullness of the Gentile come in. In 70 AD was not the fullness of the Gentiles. You can go to Luke, the other part of the Olivet Discourse, and you see it's a temple there, and the man of sin has to resurrect that temple, and that temple had to be destroyed and all that stuff. The Roman Empire was not in full power in 70 AD. And what did they destroy? They didn't destroy the world. They destroyed Jerusalem, the temple, and all of that. Did they come to America where the 10 tribes was and do anything to them? Did any of that happen? No, 1492, so on and so forth. And they killed them Israelites that y'all ignorantly call Indians and all that stuff. So, 25 again.
25 For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. 26 And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Shin the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob.
Now, did you see who's going to be saved? All of Israel going to be saved. So if you're not Israel by any means, why are you looking for any salvation? Back in them days of Jubilees and stuff, what's her name? I forget her name. But all them people became Jews because they seen that the Jews had a relationship with God and stuff. Y'all don't want to become Jews. Y'all want to be IOs. Because you're not Israelites, but you want to be IOs and talk about my salvation, what I'm going to get. And then say you ain't going to get no salvation.
Notes: the Church of God is Israel. In every generation God has elected 7,000 men of Israel to know the truth, that have never served pagan gods or their images. The rest are blind, don't know the truth. Seeketh for equals knowledge of God's word. Wall equals pagan God. Fullness equals completeness. End of their reign. Gentiles equals Europeans. Caucasians. Elijah became fearful after Jezebel, a prophetess of Baal, female preacher, killed the other prophets. Times of the Gentiles equals the time that God gave the Gentiles to rule. Their rule ends at the second coming of Jesus.
So, you see them notes? The church in the old was the nation of Israel and the mixed multitude that followed with them. What do you think the church in the New Testament is? Israel and those that follow with them. Same thing. In the old covenant. No, he only make a covenant with Israel. Who else has he made a covenant with? You can go to the Old Testament and see it was some other people was standing there. They was called servants of Israel when he made a covenant with Israel. So therefore, that's how they got into the covenant, because they was willing to be under Israel. But y'all act like a helpmate, which that's what the woman is. It's a piece of shit. No, she the helpmate. You know God is Israel helpmate. God help Israel when Israel can't help themselves, when Israel this, that, and everything down and out of stuff. Who comes and help Israel? His helpmate, which is God. Y'all don't look at him like he's second class, do you? But I know. The women that bleed are woo, they something.
Luke 19:41-44. And when he was come near, he beheld the city, and wept over it. 42, saying, If thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace. But now they are hid from thine eyes. 43, For the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, encompass thee round, and keep thee in on every side. 44 And shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
The time of thy visitation. Is this not when Christ visited and died and all that? A little bit before 70 AD. So that's a prophecy saying what's going to happen to the nation of Israel. No stone left upon one. Is that not what Christ was saying in the Olivet discourse about the temple and stuff? Yes, people, y'all, you Roman preterists are very ignorant because y'all been lied to, and y'all believe the lie and don't want to deal with the fact that y'all been lied to. They lied to y'all, they lied to us. It is what it is.
His happened in 70 AD. HX. Book, Atlas of the Bible, PGS. 201 202. The Fall of Jerusalem. Titus destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD. 500 were crucified daily. The cross is a Roman death symbol and a pagan symbol. It is not holy.
It is not holy. Trying to get y'all to get away from paganism, but like I said, you can only reach those that can be reached.
Luke 21:20-24. And when he shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. 21 Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. 22 For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. 23 But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck, in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. 24 And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So, who can say that 70 AD was the time of the Gentiles? The Gentiles are still running the world to this very day. Audience relevancy. The Gentiles running to this day, and they're going to do the same wicked thing they always do in this day and time. You don't want to believe? You ain't got to believe. Just wait till the Lord run up on you. As the people say in the streets, pull up on you. Then we're going to see what you have to say when he pull up.
Notes: This people equals Israel, Judah, Levi and Benjamin. They were removed into the European nations. The other 9 tribes are scattered on the continent of Africa. Times of the Gentiles, Europeans, white peoples rule, and when Jesus returns at the end of the Great Tribulation.
So when was the Great Tribulations? I believe me ain't been through them. And there's nothing that can be done to any saint that we don't have to go through. Go to the book of Hebrews and go to Hebrews 11 and read and learn.
HX. Book, Last 2,000,000 Years, PG. 87. Faith survives the dispersion. Titus laid siege to Jerusalem. The children of Israel were scattered throughout the Mediterranean world as slaves. The Mediterranean Sea has an African side and a European side. They took Israel from the African side of the Mediterranean and scattered us to the Americas and Europe.
So that coincides with the name that you can find in the Apocrypha that I explained the other day. Asherah, or however you say it.
Psalms 74 1 4 7:10. O God, why hast thou cast us off forever? Why doth thine anger smoke against the sheep of thy pasture? 2. Remember thy congregation, which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed. This Mount Zion, wherein thou hast dwelt. 3. Lift up thy feet unto the perpetual desolations, even all that the enemy hath done wickedly in the sanctuary. 4. Thine enemies roar in the midst of thy congregations. They set up their ensigns for signs. They have cast fire into thy sanctuary. They have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground. 8. They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of God in the land. 9. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. 10. O God, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever?
Forever, this took place in 70 AD. That's why Jesus was given the prophecy of the destruction and all that stuff that was going to happen in 70 AD.
Notes. This is Jesus speaking through the mouth of David about Israel. Our signs equals mercy seat, palm tree, cherub angel on the walls of the temple, the Ark of the Covenant. Their signs equals Star of David, Xmas tree, Easter bunny, the cross, etc. The name that the enemy blasphemes on the regular is Jesus, not any other name.
Mm. Let's keep going though. We giving y'all some of this eschatology in this.
Hosea 3 1 5. Then said the Lord unto me, go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of the Lord toward the children of Israel, who look to other gods, and love flagons of wine. 2. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for an homer of barley, and an half homer of barley. 3. And I said unto her, thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. 5. Afterward shall the children of Israel return, and seek the Lord their God, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days.
So they shall be downtrodden, but they got to raise back up again. They was downtrodden in 70 AD, which y'all think was the end of the world or the age. You ever heard of the ice age to this, that age to this? How many ages have we went through in this world? That's not the end of the world. But y'all been spiritually and scholarly sodomized, so I feel for you.
Notes. King equals Jesus will be our king when he returns. Prince equals David's son. Sacrifice equals sacrifices ended when Jesus died on the cross. Image equals a representation or similitude of any person or thing, formed of a material substance. Image of a palm tree and angel. Ephod equals priestly garment. Teraphim equals cherub angels. We won't see David until after the first resurrection when Jesus returns.
Because his sepulchre is still with us today. And when we say see David, we talking about the same one that shot the slingshot and everything with the same body and everything else.
Daniel 2 1 5 10 16 26 45. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. 2. Then the king commanded to call the magicians, and the astrologers, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to shew the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. 3. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. 4. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will shew the interpretation. 5. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, The thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. 10. The Chaldeans answered before the king, and said, There is not a man upon the earth that can shew the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler, that asks such things at any magician, or astrologer, or Chaldean. 11. And it is a rare thing that the king require it, and there is none other that can shew it before the king, except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. 12. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. 13. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. 14. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. 15. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, Why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. 16. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would shew the king the interpretation. 26. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? 27. Daniel answered in the presence of the king, and said, The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers, shew unto the king. 28.
So, as you can see, this is Daniel speaking to Nebuchadnezzar, giving him the breakdown. Cannot the wise man show?
But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream, and the visions of thy head upon thy bed, are these. 29. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter, and he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. 30. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou.
See, the things that the Lord make known to me is not to make me wiser than any Israelite, living or dead or whatever, but it's to help those that need it because I'm just part of the fivefold ministry: apostle, prophets, pastor, teachers, evangelists, blah, blah. The fivefold ministry. Maybe I'm not even saying it right, but that's the only thing I'm here for. But people hate me for the fact that they didn't receive it and they couldn't give it to the people. It's not your job if he didn't give it to you to give it to the people.
But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. 34. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces.
Now, of iron and clay, was that in 70 AD? Did Jesus come and break those, that iron and clay, into pieces and stuff? What was it written about in history? Where's the documentation? As I told y'all, y'all have been sodomized and you love it.
35 Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. 36 This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. 37 Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. 38 And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art his head of gold.
Thou, O Nebuchadnezzar, is the head of gold. And wherever man dwell, unto your son, until all of your lineage get through ruling this earth, y'all gonna run it. And y'all gonna be here till the Lord come and take y'all down, destroy y'all, and do it openly. So the whole world can see it and know that he's the bad guy, the one you don't want to play with. You that head of gold, Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel is giving him the interpretation. Starting at 39 now.
39 And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. 40 And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, forasmuch as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things. And as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. 41 And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, forasmuch as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. 42 And as the toes of the feet were part of iron, and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong, and partly broken. 43 And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. 44 And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left.
See that? See how that is so futurist, not 70 AD. In the days of those kings, did you see them kings in 70 AD? Did you see them kings in 70 AD? Because in the days of those kings, as the preterists like to say, that's very futurist. Very futurist. But y'all don't want to rumble with the king, huh? Everybody be want to act bad, but nobody want to rumble with the king. Go show the people online.
42 And as the toes of the feet were part of iron, and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong, and partly broken. 43 And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. 44 And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. 45 Forasmuch as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
So did that happen in 70 AD? Did y'all see them kings? Can you go read about them kings? Did we see the toes? The clay in the stuff? Did we see all that? No, let me give y'all a little what you can't understand and whatever. It's in the notes. It's in the notes. Listen good.
Notes: Nebuchadnezzar was the first man to rule the world by himself. Gold equals Babylon, silver equals Medo-Persia, brass equals Greece, iron equals Rome, 10 toes equals Western European Union, iron and clay, which is strong and weak nations. Stone equals Jesus, mountain equals government of God. The words Muslim and Islam denote a religion, not a people.
A religion, not a people. Judaism, a religious, not a people. We're not gonna get into all of that though. We got one more, and then we're gonna call this show over. Listen to the information. We're gonna cut it. We're gonna make sure y'all get it and not overwhelm you with the information.
Decision of the Council of the Western European Union on the residual rights and obligations of the WEU, the 27th of May 2011, Belgium, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain and the United Kingdom, hereinafter called the 10, recognize that they will be jointly responsible, including financially, to the extent of the key governing mandatory contributions to the WEU, vis a gravis, the European Union Satellite Center, with respect to the WEU residual administrative obligations specified in paragraph 1 of this decision, particularly in view of Article 40 of the WEU pension rules.
So we're gonna deal with the union.
Notes: The UK has left the WEU. They will either change religions since they are Protestant and rejoin, or another nation will join the 10. The EU signed a historic deal to integrate 23 armies to shake off its US dependence. Chicago Sun-Times references May 5, 1993. The Danes and the Swiss approved the European Treaty on a National Defense Policy in 1996. 10 nations are in the Western European Army. Denmark and neutral Ireland are outside of it. 2003. America is alarmed about Europe ignoring NATO and establishing their own army.
Their own.
EU set to slap tariffs on US goods.
Tariffs on the US goods. This is just a little bit of eschatology. In the debate, it'll be explained more or go into it deeper. But I ain't debating. So anybody that want to do their research and study the EU or the WEU, do your history. The number there is not 10 yet, but you can see right up here, they're called a 10. Then 7, little horn and all of that. It's eschatology. Most people don't know about it. But, people been over here trying to say, hey, y'all, come see this. I blocked them because, once again, I don't need them stalkers. I don't want them stalkers. Government, stop stalking. Government, stop stalking. Stop stalking. I'm at peace, and I'm going to stay at peace. Hopefully, y'all can find peace and stay at it. Hopefully, y'all not being stalked in this crazy world. With that said, we're about to get up out of here. We're about to get up out of here. So, peace, and thank those that watch, even to those that got themselves blocked.